Hello and welcome to biology class. We are studying topic kingdom Animalia, and so far we have studied many phylums in the classification of kingdom Animalia. Now we started studying phylum Chordata. In that we started studying subphylums of phylum Chordata. So phylum Chordata is divided into three subphylums. First one is Urochordata, second one is Cephalochordata, and third one is Vertebrata. So in the previous video we have already studied about Urochordata and Cephalochordata. In today's video we will study the subphylum Vertebrata. So first of all, let us see which animals are included in this phylum, and then we'll study in detail the characteristics of Vertebrata. So the first animals which are included in the Vertebrata are these lamprey. So these are the most primitive animals which are included in Vertebrata. All the other animals are advanced than this. Now these are like a fish-like animal, marine or freshwater, means aquatic animal, and it is very common in almost all the oceans. So this is one animal which is included in Vertebrata. Another kind of animals which are included in Vertebrata are fish. Now this is a picture of a shark, but all kind of different fish come under Vertebrata. Means whether it is bony fish, whether it is mackerel, whether it is Bombay duck, whether it is sardine, all the fish are coming under Vertebrata. The next animals are amphibians. Here I have taken as an example of amphibian, I have taken a picture of frog. But remember, all different amphibians coming under Vertebrata. So next example is reptiles. So it is a turtle, it is a sea turtle. So all turtle, tortoise, crocodiles, snakes, everything, means all the reptiles are also included in Vertebrata. Next one are birds. All the flying birds are included in Vertebrata. Even the ostrich-like birds are also included in Vertebrata. Basically all birds come under Vertebrata. And lastly, advanced, all mammals come under Vertebrata. Even we, human beings, come under Vertebrata. So Vertebrata is basically large phylum. When we consider Vertebrata is considerably a large phylum which include very advanced animals. Okay. Now this subphylum Vertebrata include all the advanced animals, and subphylum Vertebrata, as it includes all advanced animals and very large number of animals, it is further divided into classes and all. So we are going to study details about Vertebrata. But which animals are considered under this subphylum? You should know those characteristics first. So there are only 4 characteristics which are possessed or which are there in every vertebrate. Means it is present in this lamprey, which is a very primitive kind of Vertebrata, and even they are present in human, which is little or very advanced kind of Vertebrata. Okay, so let us look those characteristics first. Let us study those characteristics first, and then we will shift to the classification of Vertebrata. So the first characteristic of Vertebrata is about its notochord. Now try to understand the specificity of notochord of Vertebrata. Now when we consider notochord, now you know what is notochord, correct? What is notochord? Yes, notochord is that rod-like structure which is passing from the dorsal side of the advanced animals. So notochord is there in the Vertebrata, but that notochord was only there during embryonic condition. When the animals grow, okay, when the animals is growing in the embryo, even when we are growing in the embryo, our notochord, initially it was there, and afterward that notochord get converted into vertebral column. The notochord get converted into vertebral column. Means notochord convert into a bony structure or a cartilaginous structure. Okay, so it is basically notochord get converted into a ring-like structure, and each ring is called as vertebrae. Each ring is called as vertebrae, and all rings arrange themselves together to form a column which is called as vertebral column. So conversion of notochord into vertebral column is most important characteristic of vertebrata. It is present in lamprey, even it is present in human. So that is our specificity. As we are having vertebral column, we become vertebra. Understanding? Clear about it? So let us consider the second characteristic. Second characteristic is presence of central nervous system. Now we are, means all vertebrate are with very advanced central nervous system. Our central nervous system consists of brain, which is lying in our head region, and spinal cord. And both brain as well as spinal cord are having protection. Our brain is protected in the cranium, which even called it as a brain box, and vertebral column give protection to the spinal cord. So that is also a very special characteristic of vertebrata. Another special characteristic is our cranial nerves. Now you need not to study cranial nerves in details right now. Next year you will be having all these things. But just remember, cranial nerves are the nerves which are coming out from the brain. Okay. So cranium indicating brain, and the nerves which is coming out from the brain are the cranial nerves. So we are having either 8 pairs of cranial nerves. Basically lamprey is having 8 pairs of cranial nerves. Some are having 10 pairs of cranial nerves. And like fish is having 10 pairs of cranial nerves, and we all advanced vertebrates are having 12 pairs of cranial nerves. So this is about the second characteristic. First is notochord got converted into vertebral column. Second one is presence of CNS consists of brain and spinal cord. Third characteristic is we are having cranial nerves, either 8 pairs, in little bit advanced animals 10 pairs, and in little bit advanced vertebrates there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Clear about it? So let us shift to the next characteristic. Next characteristic is our closed circulatory system. This is our very specific characteristic. All the vertebrates are having closed type of circulatory system. Now do you remember what is closed type of circulatory system? Yes, closed type of circulatory system means blood flow within the blood vessels. Okay, and to continue this flow, flow of blood into the blood vessels, we need heart. So all vertebrates are having heart. Heart is our another special characteristic. We are having heart. Now heart is in some cases like lamprey, it is 2-chambered. In some cases like amphibians, it is 3-chambered, and in some cases like us, it is 4-chambered. So chambers of heart are differ according to the how advanced the animal is, but presence of heart is compulsory. Now fourth and very important characteristic is that it is having either 2 pair of lateral appendages. The fourth and very important characteristic is that it is having 2 pairs of lateral appendages. Appendages means, now you know what is appendages. For us, our hand and our feet are our appendages. For fish, fins are their appendages. So presence of lateral appendages is another important characteristic of subphylum vertebrata. So these 4 are very important characteristics of subphylum vertebrata. Notochord converted into vertebral column, first one. CNS consists of brain plus spinal cord, second one. Cranial nerves 8, 10 or 12 according to how advanced the animal is. Then closed circulatory system and presence of lateral appendages. So these are few important characteristics of subphylum vertebrata. After knowing the characteristic, let us shift to the classification of this subphylum. And so the vertebrata is divided into 2 divisions. Now first division is called as agnathostomata, okay, and second division is called as gnathostomata. See, subphylum vertebrata is divided into 2 divisions, okay. Agnathostomata is the first division and Gnathostomata is the second division. Their name sounds difficult, but actually they are very easy to understand. Now first you need to understand the meaning of Gnathostomata and the meaning of Agnathostomata. Then you will easily understand what animals will be coming under first division, that is Gnathostomata, and another, that is Gnathostomata. Let us see what do you mean by Agnathostomata first. Now Gnatha means jaw. Gnatha means what? Jaw. Gnatha means jaw. Means no. Means what? No. The group of animals with no jaw are coming under Agnathostomata. See, animals with no jaw. Now, how exactly they will look like? They will look something like this. Now, the first fish diagram which I have shown you, lamprey, it is coming under Agnathostomata. If we see mouth of the animal carefully, we see something like this. See, this mouth do not have jaws. So in these animals, jaw is totally absent. And instead of jaw, they are having this circular structure. This circular structure is called as suctorial. What does it call? Suctorial. The circular structure is called as suctorial. Understanding? Now, as these animals are look a little bit different than that of the rest of the animals, rest of the vertebrata specifically. Now there are very less number of Agnathostomata on earth. Okay, it was like, you know, the Cambrian period, which was before dinosaurs period, okay, before Jurassic period. So that means very previously in the evolution, there was a time when all water bodies were full of these fish, these Agnathostomata. But afterward, during evolution, they failed to survive, okay, and only few Agnathostomata remain on earth, okay. So these Agnathostomata are very less nowadays, very less number of Agnathostomata exist nowadays, okay. So we are going to study Agnathostomata in details after some time, but before that we'll try to understand Gnathostomata first. So it is Gnathostomata is a second division of subphylum Vertebrata. In this case, jaws are present. Here there is a mistake, I'll just clear it. Remember, jaw is present. In this case, jaw is present. Gnathostomata, animals with jaw. Now, when we consider this Gnathostomata, look like this. See, this is a picture of crocodile. Basically, I took a specifically alligator. So its its jaw we can clearly see. So this is whatever I am encircling is lower jaw. Is what? Lower jaw, and this is, which I am encircling right now, is upper jaw. So the animal, the second division of vertebrata, that is Gnathostomata, the animals are provided with jaw. A mouth is bounded by jaw, and it is upper jaw as well as lower jaw. In our case also, we are having lower jaw and upper jaw. In all the advanced animals, even in fish, they are having upper jaw as well as lower jaw. Even in case of snake, we see upper and lower jaw. So upper and lower jaw, that is presence of jaw, is a characteristic of Gnathostomata. So let us go and study Agnathostomata, that is the first division of subphylum Vertebrata, and then in next video onwards we will shift to the study of Gnathostomata. So let us study Agnathostomata first. Now, as I just told you, Agnathostomata are the animals without jaw. And those animals are like when Cambrian period of evolution, that is long back in the evolution, there were large number of Agnathostomata in the ocean. But nowadays, Agnathostomata couldn't survive during the process of evolution, and only few Agnathostomata are remaining. Only single class of Orgnathostomata is known to survive nowadays. It is called as Cyclostomata. So Orgnathostomata is having a single class called as Cyclostomata. So let us learn Cyclostomata. Now this is an example of Cyclostomata, and it is a lamprey. Lamprey come under Petromyzon. So this is, you can say, a Petromyzon. Because in your textbook a name Petromyzon is given, lamprey is a common name. Now another good example of Orgnathostomata is this hugfish, which is in your book, its name is given as a myxine. So whether it is myxine or hugfish, one and the same thing. Lamprey or Petromyzon, again one and the same thing. Okay. Now any of the picture do not show you clearly, but both of them don't have jaw. They are having, instead of jaw, they are having a circular mouth. Okay. Now let us learn some characteristics of Orgnathostomata and we'll come ahead. Now see the first characteristic. The mouth is the mouth is not bounded by jaw, that is, jaw is absent. That's why they are Orgnathostomata. So instead of jaw, they are having suctorial circular place, which is called as suctorial funnel. Okay, but they don't have jaws, but they are having teeth and tongue. Okay, now remember, these animals are mostly parasitic. They remain attached to the skin of other fish and suck its blood. Okay, suck its blood. So they are basically ectoparasite. As they are ectoparasite, they don't need a stomach in their digestive system. Stomach is not needed because they are already getting ready-made food. Okay, so basically they are parasitic because they don't have any other option, as they don't have jaws. Understanding? Then when we see their skin is generally smooth. Okay, their skin is smooth because they are having no scale on their body. They don't have scale like fish. Okay, their body is smooth and slimy, as well as they are having mucus glands. So it is they are very difficult to hold in hand. They will just slime. Okay. Next one is they are having single nostril. Okay, nostril is only one. We are having two. They are having only one. Then endoskeleton is made up of cartilage, and this cartilage is basically fibrous cartilage. So basically it is inside also it is soft. Its bones means its endoskeleton is not hard. Okay. Now next one is heart is two-chambered, one auricle and one ventricle. Then they do respiration by gills. Okay, and those gills are internal, and outside they are just represented by some holes. Okay, and inside they are having gill pouches. Their sexes are generally separated. Okay, they are unisexual. The fertilization mostly external. The female lay eggs out, and sperm of the male will fertilize them, and fertilization will take place in water outside the female body, called as external fertilization. Okay. Development is indirect. They are always having larva, and the name of the larva is ammoseate larva. Okay, clear about it? So this is about the reproductive characteristic of Cyclostomata. The next characteristic are they are cold-blooded animals. Cold-blooded are also called as poikilothermic animals. Means their body temperature changes along with the environmental temperature. Here the environmental temperature means water surrounding them. Understanding? And lastly, the examples are Petromyzon and myxine. Okay. So this is all about the Cyclostomata, only single class in the division Orgnathostomata. Single surviving class. Okay. All others are extinct in the evolution process. You need to remember few. You need to remember about they are jawless, they are having suctorial funnel, they are having 5 to 16 pairs of gills. Then you need to remember about two-chambered heart, fibrous endoskeleton, and they are parasitic. They are ectoparasitic. Okay. So this is all about Orgnathostomata and its single class Cyclostomata. In the next video, see you with the Orgnathostomata, that is the second division of subphylum Vertebrata. Till then, goodbye, take care.